without any effective conversation about whether or not those communities want that. I think we have to ask ourselves why. Why have we put all the density in the place that has the least access to public transportation and allowed folks to be pushed out? My number one concern around rezones right now is, will people who should have the right to stay in Seattle continue to be pushed out? People should have the right to stay. And I also think our city has failed to have an effective public transportation, speaking specifically to public transportation, strategy. More cars on these roads are not going to serve us as a city, nor are they going to serve us environmentally. So when we talk about rezones and density, if we don't simultaneously talk about developing an effective public transportation strategy, what we're going to do is ensure that the folks who end up with that density in these urban villages are not going to be able to get to work or get around. And that's also connected to part of the push-out problem. And so I know folks want a yes or no, and my answer is going to be read our platform that'll be posted on April 2nd. And I say that because I think the conversation around rezones and HALA is actually far more nuanced than of an answer than what I can effectively give right here in this moment. But what I will say is I acknowledge people are very afraid of losing their homes and their spaces. And that is a real fear that I want to acknowledge. There are some folks who really want more density in a very urbanized city. That's also a want that has to be acknowledged. How do we look at those needs and those wants and figure out how folks in our city can all simultaneously be served? I think really has to be the question. Do I think everybody's gonna be happy? No, somebody's gonna be unhappy about how we end up choosing our urban planning strategy for the city, especially as it's rapidly growing. The third thing I wanna say when we talk about rezones is my number one priority would be, as mayors, first figure out how do we have rapid rehousing for our homeless and houseless folks. So we would move on readdressing affordability, which has to be based on income. The median, 60% of the median income in Seattle is not affordable. It's not affordable for Seattle public school teachers. It's not affordable for most of the Black community, which has a median income of 39%, or Latinx community, which has a median income of 49%. So affordability has to be readdressed. HALA has to be rethought through and readdressed, and public housing is a conversation that is tenant-based and tenant-led, has to enter back into the conversation in Seattle.